at Radius Health Roar. Here's a development stage biotech that's been flying, courtesy of some very strong data that the company announced last week. For those of you who don't remember, we're big fans of Radius, which develops drugs for osteoporosis and other endocrine-mediated disorders. The stock has been on fire for ages, rallying 386% in 2014. But when we last spoke to the CEO in May, after the whole biotech group, including Radius, had been crushed by an industry-wide sell-off, since then, guess what? The stock has given us another phenomenal 66% gain. This latest leg up for Radius comes because the company announced some very positive data last week for their main osteoporosis drug. Excuse me, I'm going to try to get this right, which is abaloparatide, that's currently in phase 3 clinical trials. This therapy helps promote bone growth and hence prevent bones from breaking in people with osteoporosis. And the numbers from this trial show that it works significantly better than Forteo. That's the current standard of care, which is a $1.2 billion drug. Oh, and Dr. Willard Deer, who led the development of Forteo at Eli Lilly, he's now on Radius board of directors. Can Radius keep climbing after this amazing run? Let's check in with Bob Ward, the president and CEO of Radius Health, find out more about where his company's headed. Mr. Ward, welcome back to Mad Money. Good to see you, sir.
Thank you, Jim. Good to see you as well.
Well, these results are pretty astonishing, and I want you to describe to people first for vertebrae and then for the rest of the body how much better this is than what the current standard is.
Absolutely. So we did 2 trials. The active trial, which was 18 months of bone building with abaloparatide. Right. Then the active extend, which was a maintain trial with a bisphosphonate. So build, maintain.
Right.
So the group that was on abaloparatide for 18 months experienced no vertebral fractures in the 6 months.
None.
None.
Which, I mean, it's kind of game, set, match versus whatever else you'd be taking, right? But we have to wait for side effects. We're not just, the science is kind of proved by that, no?
It is, because the mechanism of action is well understood. Now, we have a unique signaling, so as a result, we liberate less calcium. So remember in the active trial, we pre-specified hypercalcemia compared to teriparatide and had statistically significantly less. So we understand the full profile. But you're right, the new vertebral data and also non-vertebral, major osteoporotic fractures, clinical fractures. We hit on each one of those with abaloparatide. We're quite excited.
Okay, so Forteo increases for 12 months spinal bone mass density, 12 months. Forteo, 7.4. You're at 8.2. Hip, 2%. You're at 2.87%. That's actually rather dramatic difference, right, in terms of growth?
You're right, Jim. The amount of bone, where we build bone, and the time course of the bone build makes a big difference for how patients benefit from different osteoporosis therapies.
Right.
So,
now, also, there's a difference in the way it can be given. And one of the things I was trying to understand, why does refrigeration matter? One has to be refrigerated, the other one doesn't?
Well, this is a peptide. So, yes, the Forteo drug is kept in the refrigerator. We believe our data suggests that when it's at the patient's home, they may not have to refrigerate the drug.
Yeah, see, I think that's big because what you're ultimately talking about are elderly people who unfortunately get to the hospital with a broken bone and can't go to rehab and then end up dying because of something that your drug might prevent from the beginning.
Well, Jim, the amazing part is a lot of times osteoporosis is thought of as disease of the elderly because, yes, hip fracture happens when you're 70 or 80.
Right.
But wrist fracture, vertebral fractures, this happens when you're 50. In fact, as we've talked to individuals, we'll find out people are playing tennis. They fell and broke their wrist, and for the first time find out they had osteoporosis. So intervening earlier with younger patients can help avoid those devastating fractures of the elderly that you were speaking of before.
Well, aren't you talking about something that's conceivable? If everything goes right, 2016?
We're on track for submission of our NDA in the U.S. this year and our MAA in Europe as well. And then with positive regulatory review, yes, 2016 would be ideally first commercial sale.
And the gentleman who was involved with Forteo would not have moved, I presume, to Radius's board of directors if he didn't feel similarly inclined that this could be a major drug.
Well, and Jim, all of us, when we saw this latest round of data, took a step back and said, wow.
Yeah, that's what I said. I mean, it came out, and the stock kind of hung there initially. And I said, no, this is much better than what I was looking for. Now, let's just talk for a moment about your other drug, which is it's a breast cancer drug that's also involved with for menopause. This, again, something people want to have, eliminate hot flashes, but there's been side effects. Your drug apparently has fewer side effects.
You're right. So RAD-1901 is just part of our pipeline. We even have an earlier selective androgen receptor modulator, RAD-140. But for 1901, We previously completed a phase 2 study and showed a significant reduction of vasomotor symptoms. And right now we have a phase 1 trial in metastatic breast, enrolling and dosing patients as we speak. And then this year, we're looking to start the phase 2B for vasomotor symptoms for 1901.
Arguably, conceivably as big as your osteoporosis drug.
Yeah, the opportunity, the unmet medical need in vasomotor systems is substantial.
Well, I have to tell you, most our companies that development stage are lucky to have one that is 2 or 3 years away. You've got 2 that are very close. This is a remarkable story. You're just doing a remarkable job. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Jim. We're excited to be here.
All right, that's Bob Ward, the president and CEO of Radius Health. You can see everything's available. This is the most disclosed story. Please check it out. These are monumental breakout figures. Mad Money's back after the break. Booyah! Jim Cramer here from Mad Money. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube. Click here to subscribe and get the jump on my exclusives with CEOs, plus market news, investing advice, and a whole lot more.